crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here. In today's Brother Scan and Cut Tips and Tricks tutorial, you are going to learn how to cut out stamped images with your SDX125. Follow along with whichever model of Scan and Cut you have. We are going to be using this new stamp set called Hot Dog by Stampin Up. It's part of our January to June mini catalog, which I can now finally open for you, which I'm excited about. And here it is on page 72. I got this stamp set when I saw my team member Nola, who loves dogs and she's really into all kinds of dog shows and things. When she opened up her and did her unboxing, I thought, this stamp set's adorable. How did I miss it? Well, you can miss things because there's so many great things in this catalog. And I kind of missed it the first time around. So I then went and ordered it because I love these cute little dogs, easy to color in. And I love the funny sentiments too. Hot dog, it's your birthday. Or I miss you, it's been too long. So I made a few projects that I'll show you, and I always show you the projects at the end of my tutorial so you can see how you apply the skills that you just learned. Okay, so let's get started. So from start to finish, you'll understand how to cut out stamped images. If you want to order the stamp set, there's my link to my website, and the celebration has started. Okay, meaning for every time you order right now, from now until the end of February, you are going to be able to get something free for each $50 you spend. Okay, so if you order this stamp set, a couple other things, you'll be getting some freebies. All right, so what I want to do is, these are already stained. They're a little bit stained because it's a photopolymer stamp set, meaning it's like plastic. So I've already used these stamps, so they get stained a little bit. No big deal. So what I've already mounted my hot dogs, right? Aren't they cute? I have them mounted like this because I'm doing a different card design where they're looking at each other and I have it precisely placed. So when you use your Scan and Cut, it really doesn't matter how you put them on your stamping block because you're going to be cutting them out anyway. Okay, so I'm just taking a piece of Whisper White. Let's get more of a little let's get more of this shape here. I'm taking a piece of Whisper White cardstock now. We don't have Miss Whisper White anymore. As of today, we now have a color called, I'm going to get to these in a minute. We have a color called Basic White. Okay, so Whisper White has gone away. What I'm doing is I'm just inking up my hot dogs like this with the Memento Black. When you have such a long image, you want to turn it upside down when you're inking. If you were just inking one dog, you could just stamp onto the stamp pad like that, right? Tap, 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 and then stamp it. But since it's such a long dog, I'm just going to do it one more time. There's two of them, and it's just a long image. So this is Stamping Block I, by the way. If you want to know, Stamping Block I will fit 2 hot dogs on it. Let's put them up there. It doesn't matter. Like I said, I'm cutting them out, but I want to leave room for these little phrases too. Okay, so they stamp perfectly. So if you want to talk about good images for using with your Scan and Cut, I mean, this is as good as it gets. You don't have to use the pencil trick. You don't have to use witchcraft, trickery. I'm just kidding. We don't use witchcraft. But you know what I'm saying? We don't have to cast a magic spell. There's perfect lines around the stamped image. Well-defined lines means they're going to cut out easier because the Scan and Cut can recognize these images. Okay, now we're going to do the little sentiments here. How are you? And what you want to do with these, and of course the first time you use a stamp, what you want to do is always stamp onto your mat. Now what you want to do with these is stamp on your mat a couple times because we don't need stamping blocks too big here. We'll just use the one. Because you want to make sure this kind of stamp, when it's solid like this, you want to make sure they're even. So this is Stamping Block C, and I'm using, of course just use whatever stamping blocks you have. I'm just letting you know if you want to know how to repeat what I'm doing. Stamping Block C and Stamping Block B. So we're going to just cut out these, which are also really easy to cut out. We're going to use Poppy Parade. This is Poppy Parade. It's just, you see how I open up the ink like that? Okay, and I'm just checking because I did these earlier. I just got to check. Okay, don't mind me if it's not in focus. Okay, and Cajun Craze, right? Just making sure which one. I did the larger one in Cajun Craze. And they're Stampin' Up color. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to just take, it says, how are you? And we're just going to stamp over there. Okay, perfect. It's stamping good, and then I can use it on my paper. Now, the first time you use a stamp, you have to stamp it a few times before you get a nice solid image. That's just from my experience. Okay, how are you? Is looking good? Right? Putting it there. Okay. Perfect. That was Cajun Craze. All right. And then we're going to do the high. And like I said, if it's not solid, you know, you just try it a couple times. Now it's pretty solid. It's looking good. And unlike, so when I was stamping with the black, the Memento Black, I did hold the paper for a few seconds. When I stamp with this really bright color, I don't hold it too long, because if you hold it too long, you can't read the HI. It starts running together, like the ink starts running into the H and the I. So don't hold it too long when you're doing the high. Good enough. If you want, you can stick another one right there in the middle, here, just to not waste paper, right? You can go like that, and maybe one like that. There we go, just so I'm not wasting paper. Perfect. I have images now. So what I have done, just so you know, and you would let that dry a minute, because that's a lot of ink, right? Let that dry a minute. So what I've done is I've already loaded my mat, but I don't want my crafty friends to miss any steps in this whole process. But there's a reason for everything. We're going to move the machine closer. Slide. And I have it already loaded, and I don't want to unload it because I just got done doing what's called the scanning cutting position adjustment, which I've done recent videos on. And it means I've just got done aligning my machine. Furthermore, like I already have, here's what it looks like after you align it. You get these little crosshairs, and I've done it so many times I've aligned it that I don't want to move. I don't want to unload my mat because it's aligned perfectly, is what I'm saying. You can, of course, unload your mat after you align it. That's not a problem. But just right now for this tutorial, after you do align your machine, you can unload and reload. So what I want to do is just put some, this is my hot dogs. And I'm just putting a little painter's tape, because you want to hold your paper on there. And I don't want to rub over the top of my hot dogs. Put your stamped image anywhere you want on the mat. Like I said, my mat's already loaded, but if not, I'm going to show you how to load your mat. And of course, you can load and unload your mat without calibrating it every time. It's just that my lights are on. It's kind of like my stars are aligned. And when things are working, I don't want to move it. Oh, I laugh because you have no idea what I go through to make these. How many attempts it takes me to make these tutorials. All right, so we just got done doing that. I'm going to lower this screen so you can see it. So what you missed, or you didn't miss it, but this is how I loaded the mat with this button here. I'm going to start it. So now I have stamped images. I'm just going to go back to the home screen. So it doesn't matter if you have stamped images, pattern paper. I need to turn off my other overhead light. It does not matter what's on this mat right now, okay? The concept I'm teaching you is the same whether you have a pattern paper, whether you drew something, or whether you have a stamped image. You need to scan that image into your machine. I know a lot of you are newbies, got a machine from Santa Claus, so I'm going over things that my crafty friends who have been around my channel for a while already know, but I don't want to assume that you all know these things, so I'm just kind of saying these things at the beginning. So it doesn't matter if you have pattern paper, a stamped image, or a drawing, you are going to scan it and cut it the same way, okay? So you're gonna turn on your machine and you see pattern and scan. I'm looking for the stylus, but here we'll just use the spatula. We're gonna select scan, and we're gonna use direct cut, okay? Why direct cut? Because I'm directly cutting out these images, okay? So I'm gonna directly cut them out. Now it's asking you, where do you want to store this information? I'm gonna temporarily store it on the machine. That means just temporary storage. It doesn't really mean, don't worry about it. You could have stored it online as well. So next question is, what size area? Well, you know I put the hot dogs at the top of the mat, so you click here, and it says scan area 12 by 6 or 12 by 12. Well, my hot dogs are up on the top right of the mat, so I can use a 12 by 6 scanning area. Also, it doesn't matter that I have some colored images and a black and white image. You always use black and white recognition mode as much as you can, because that's going to be the most recognizable, and it's easiest and it's faster, okay? So we're gonna use black and white recognition mode, even if you have colored images, unless you start having trouble with your colored images, and then you would change it to possibly to color recognition mode. But for now, you just use black and white recognition mode. Okay, so it's scanned in the hot dogs, and it's recognizing. Okay, so what it's doing, so I'm going to click OK. And you see there's some dirt on the mat. So there's a few ways to get rid of this extra dirt on the mat. Because I don't want to cut. If I was to cut right now, I'd have all kinds of little lines cutting. Now your mat might be brand new and clean, but you're still going to have extra lines and lint on your mat. Okay, so one way to get rid of those extra areas is just, I mean, pretend I have my stylus, okay? Because you did get a stylus with your machine. I'm just going to use my little, take your pick tool. Kind of looks more like a stylus. All right, so the one way is you can take and make a selection. Okay, that's one way to get rid of those extra bits on the outside. Okay, another way is to ignore object size. So when you ignore object size, you want to ignore objects that are small to get rid of little bits, but you don't want to ignore the very objects you're trying to cut out. So don't ignore objects too big, or these little thought bubbles, these little hi and how are you, they're going to start to disappear. So you don't want to ignore them. But I think I got them all by saying 0.35, except for that one little bit there. So let's show you how to get rid of that. So we're going to say OK. And now inside of the edit, we're going to click on edit. You can get rid of any, see, extra little phantom bits that maybe they didn't make it out because of the selection. They didn't make it out by me ignoring the object size. So now I can actually delete them manually using the trash can. Okay, so those are the 3 ways to just get what you want to cut out. And what I'm going to do is right now is toggle between the selection. So this is toggling. These are all the objects selected. And see, when I get to that one there, I can trash it. So if you're not sure, oh, do I have phantom things in there? Extra little things, right? You just double check by clicking around and toggling through the selection. All right, lastly, let me get a hot dog and show you. Get one of my hot dogs. Lastly, I want to put an outline image, little, see, peeking in. That this one was not very aligned. But I did another alignment, and hopefully it's a little more aligned, but that's okay. You get the ideas. I want to put a little bit of an outline distance around this stamped image. So I want to put a 0.04 outline distance. And now we're good. Now don't, if you're going to put a bigger outline distance, my dogs are going to start to meld together as one, which might be what you want. We might want one image like they're kissing, in which case I would make a bigger outline distance and it kind of melds into one because they're so close together. The bigger the outline distance, the more they start overlapping each other. But I just want it to be separate images. I'm cutting these out separately. So I'm just going to go with the 0.04 outline distance. We're going to say OK, OK. And we're going to now cut. And then I'll see you back here. We're going to see how long it takes. We're going to say cut. It says 2 minutes. Okay, so we'll see you back here in 2 minutes, where we'll show you how to remove these from the mat and some projects you can create with these. Okay, so we're going to click start. And that's all. Thanks. Okay, it's finished cutting. We click OK. And now we can go ahead and unload our mat. Now I'm just going to also show you one thing. Just say OK. And we've unloaded our mat. And I'll show you how to get the little dogs off the mat. But if you want to make some sentiments for your, I'm just going to go back to the, or just click home. Just click the home button. If you want to make some sentiments for your card. Okay, so you just go in here to pattern. And you can make some shapes. I mean, shapes to stamp your sentiments onto. And click on the shapes. And scroll down here. And you can add circles. And you could, for example, the card I'm going to be showing you, I used a 1.75 inch circle of a Whisper White. And then, of course, I did an outline of a 2 inch. I mean, I did a little outline in paper. But just giving you an idea. So that's just one more thing you could do with your Scan and Cut. Move it to wherever you want. Make as many circles as you want. You can use those circles to stamp your sentiments onto. All right, so let's now finish this tutorial. Okay, let's talk about, because this tutorial is about cutting stamped images, not sentiments, but I just wanted to point that out while I had the machine. So now I'm going to take this tape off, and you could either use it again when it's a little less sticky, but if it's not very sticky, it's going to get caught up in your machine. So I tend to just use it as like cleaning up glitter. I use it, see, cleans up some glitter. I clean the dust around my craft room before I throw it away. I try not to reuse it too many times, although I can, because it is better for cleaning up. And I want really sticky painter's tape so it doesn't get caught up in the machine. So what I'm going to do is remove the Whisper White cardstock. Okay. Now, by the way, if you happen to be using, so say you're using a different kind of model. Okay, I was using an SDX machine. It had auto blade technology. I didn't have to set the blade depth for cutting these stamped images. But if you're using a CM model where you have to set the blade depth, and you're using Whisper White, which is now going to be called Basic White, we have a new kind coming out, which I just ordered, and I'm going to let you know how that works. So if you use our cardstock and you have to set your blade depth on your machine, then you're going to set a blade depth of 4 for this Whisper White. And I can tell my alignment is perfect for some of these, but not for all of them. And you can tell when I say alignment, that one's perfect. I mean, it means that the right amount of white space, or not the right amount, an even amount of white space around the whole thing. And if not, you have to use what's called scanning, cutting, position adjustment. It's pretty good though. I mean, I'm happy with these hot dogs. Bottom line, I'm happy with them. And I could keep aligning my machine if I wanted to. Okay, so there. Whoa, we got some crazy lighting going on there. Let's put this paper back. Sometimes I have to put something into the camera to give it some balance. All right, so that's how to cut out stamped images. Now let's go a couple steps further, because we're all about tips and tricks here. So you get one of your little hot dogs and you can color it. So I have here what's called the Stampin' Blends. And I have this little Flirty Flamingo Stampin' Blend. This is just to make a little, it's Flirty Flamingo, so you could make his little nose pink. Okay. And let's see what happened to the blend that was just right here. Here it goes. So now you want to take, our alcohol markers, our Stampin' Blend markers are dark and light. So what you want to do is you always want to start with the dark one and do the outer edge in darker color, because you're going to blend the lighter color inside. So what I'm just going to do this part here just to show you. Okay, I'm going to do the ears and I'm going to do the face. Okay, so of course you would outline the whole body, but just to give you an idea. And now I'm going to take the lighter color. This is the lighter crumb cake. That was dark crumb cake. This is light crumb cake. Circular motions for the inside, and you're blending the inside to the outside. Okay, so that's how of course you could do the whole thing. I like to do a little section at a time, but this dog isn't that big. You could probably do the whole thing. Do the legs later, because the legs can just be dark, straight dark. You don't really need to blend the legs. That's too small of an area. So maybe something like that, right? I do like the head region, and then I might do the body region. But if you let the alcohol markers get dry, I mean, if you let these dry, then you end up with, it doesn't, they're harsh and it doesn't blend, harsh areas. So that's how you do it. And then I would just finish this up by using, there's a thin side and there's a thick side. There's a thin side of each marker. I could color the legs with the thin side very easily. And I don't really need to blend the legs because they're not that big of a region. But again, if you want to blend colors, don't let any color dry. Don't go doing all the outside of all your dogs. Let it dry. Come back and do the light side. Do them right away so that the colors blend while they're still wet. And that's how you work with alcohol markers. It's so cute. So we have now you know how to cut out your stamped images and your little sentiments. I even mentioned about how to make a shape. So let me show you my projects for the hot dog. And seriously, what happened to them? Oh. Okay, here we go. It's like while I'm recording, it's like everything disappears. Okay, so the Slimline Card. Slimline Card. So here's a Slimline Card, and it is using this new well-suited designer series paper. And that's the reason now you know why I chose these colors. So I chose this color Cajun Craze and this color Poppy Parade because it goes with the Cajun Craze and the Poppy Parade in the well-suited designer series paper. So let's stand that up. If you like this designer series paper, you can get it right now at my Stampin' Up store. And I just put Happy Mail on the envelope. So that's called a Slimline Card, and I liked how it said, you know, it's been too long. Okay, and then I have this little project. This is a mini, it's a Ghirardelli treat holder, but it's called like a diaper fold pouch. That's what we call it. And I have How Are You up there, and I put the little doggy on a wobble spring because that made it lots of fun, and it makes it 3D. I'll have a link to the little wobble springs I use in the description. And finally, this project here is a 3D project, Bonjour. And I used the little, we have these little card boxes at Stampin' Up. I'll link to all the materials I used. And then I used this paper. The paper is from the Playful Pets suite that is in our annual catalog that's been available for a while. And you've probably seen me make other treats with it. That's where I got these little trinkets from that looks like he's wearing it around his neck. The little bone trinkets. But the Bonjour and the little bones and the little feet and the dog itself are all from Hot Dog. So for this box, I was able to put 6 milk bones in this box. And I did a tutorial on how to cut the liners of this box using the Scan and Cut as well. So the Scan and Cut the liner, scored the sides for me and everything. Then I just did the stamping. This is actually a little die cut, but you could use a shape in your Scan and Cut. And then I just cut out the stamped image with the Scan and Cut. So Scan and Cut, Scan and Cut. Scan and Cut for the circle, 1.75 inches for the outer region, 2-inch circle. And although you could use the Scan and Cut for these pieces of designer series paper, I actually just cut them all with my paper trimmer because they're these are just scraps I'm using. Or actually, I was cutting the paper for other things. So let me just show you. Like there's some just scraps of paper. Now I'm ready to make some more cards like this, just by layering up these scraps of this well-suited designer series paper with that little pop of color. Gives it a nice, like, masculine look, and, you know, makes it lots of fun. All right, so there's some ideas on what you could do with the stamped images you cut out. I recommend that you color after you cut out, because you can color your projects. You could color the dogs to match whatever projects you're working on, and for a couple other reasons, which I get into in some of my tutorials. Well, that's all for now. I hope you give this a try. I hope you order the new Hot Dog stamp set from our new mini catalog, and I hope you check out all of the things you can earn for free. Oops, that's upside down. When you place an order during our celebration period. Now, this is the catalog period, how long the Hot Dog stamp will be available. But this celebration period of ordering free things, meaning if you spend $50 and you get something for free from this catalog, this brochure, that goes on until February 28th. So you have plenty of time. Oops, I'm allowed to untape it now. I had it taped up because I wasn't allowed to show you the inside. I'll be going through a walkthrough of this and samples of projects you can make with these. But these are things you can earn for free when you spend $50 at my store on any of my catalogs or any of our products. You get to pick out something for free. You'll be prompted to do so. This is free when you spend $100. You get both of these items. Lots of information coming about all the 5 packs of free paper you can get when you join my team, and lots of good stuff during celebration. All right, that's all for now. This is the Paper Chef, and I enjoyed sharing this tips and tricks with you about how to cut stamped images.